Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm sitting here beside a beautiful, well, not yet so beautiful, but I'm sitting beside a Suzuki GS550T, which I bought last year and I had in my collection in my garage as part of one of the budget bikes. And this is my latest project. There's a couple of issues with it at the moment. She's only running on 3 cylinders. So I'll be taking out the carbs, giving them a good clean up, putting them into my ultrasonic bath, and then I'm going to be freeing up this front brake here. So I'll be having a look at the brake cylinder itself to see what's going on there. Right, this is a little bit sticky here, and I'm going to be freeing that up here. This is the brake cylinder here, so I'm just going to grease the part that is sticking on me. We're going to start off today with the cleaning up of the carburetor. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take off the seat. I'm going to have to take off the tank, the side parts, disconnect the battery, disconnect the airbox, and try and get the airbox back as far as possible so that I can actually then release the carbs and pull them back and shift them to one side out. And there we go. Here we go, baby. I'll be disconnecting the carbs as well. The carburetors are going to be connected, one to the tank, to the fuel hose. And there we go. There's the tank off, and it's not actually, there's no fuel coming out. And then again to the choke and the accelerator cable. So let's get cracking on that. First of all, I'd like to just give you a quick little run around the bike itself. Okay, here's the budget bike that we're going to... All these parts are going to be nicely painted. The exhaust isn't actually quite good, Nick. There's a couple of little marks in it. The engine is very clean. I think this part of the engine has been painted. Yes, it has. This also. Crash bars on it. And the carbs actually look nice and clean. It has been apart before because you can see that the bolts have been replaced. They're not the originals. The bike is generally in fairly good condition. To get the bike roadworthy and running properly, I'm going to be firstly looking at the engine, then I'm going to be looking at the brakes, and then I'm going to be looking at the aesthetics from there. The bike polishes up beautifully because there's a lot of chrome on it. It has been painted, bits and pieces of it, but the frame is actually nice, so I don't have to do anything with that. But I'll just give you a little closer look at some of the parts that are going to be needing some attention. So it's not actually a bad rack to have, but the rack itself is, as you can see, is sort of like a little bit rusty. I have gone over it with the aluminium foil trick. I don't know if you know that, but you just get aluminium and a little bit of dampness on it, or a little bit of washing up liquid on it, and just rub the rust off with the you can actually clean up chrome quite nicely doing that. So I spent the day yesterday cleaning up the garage because there's nothing worse than a dirty garage. If you let anything fall, you don't find it because you've got leaves and dirt and other nuts and bolts on the floor, and the one you're looking for, you won't be able to find it. So I cleaned up the garage yesterday. I'll give you a little look at that. Folks, the reason why I actually like to keep the garage clean is because if you drop anything and you just you're looking for it, you find so much. You've got leaves, you've got dirt, you've got bolts, you've got everything on the ground. So I like to clean up the garage before I do carburetors, because usually some sort of a little thing falls on the ground and then you end up looking for it, and it's terrible. I got some of the stuff ready, my tools ready to do the job today. I'm just going to show you that as well. So I'd just like to show you my workshop, and just got everything a little bit prepped. so that I can commence on the work in the workshop without having any difficulties. So my workbank. Here's basically the workbank. I have some tools. I have my laptop always with me, and I have prepared 4 of these containers. Now I'm going to be laying out the carburetor rack here in front of me and taking it apart. I'll be putting then parts from number 1 in box number 1, parts from number 2 in box number 2, and so on. So I keep it nice and tidy. Then I also have one of these things which I actually place on the bike and put down a little bit of rubber. What this is here is this is a magnet, and it actually attracts all little bits of metal, and then you just put this on your tank and scrape it nicely. Now the tank on this bike isn't very nice. I don't even know, it's probably been hand painted or something like that, but it's a metallic horrible turquoise green. I'm going to be painting that anyway. So anyway, back to the tools that I have laid out. Here's my workbank again. I have here some port cleaners. These are all little wiry brushes, and this is something else as well in there. So you want a JIS screwdriver, one that is nice and sharp, and it doesn't wreck or ruin your carburetor screws. I also use one with a bit as well, because the bit is always nice and new and nice and sharp. You're going to need 2 different sizes of carburetors for pranging out things, and I always have a torch in there. Now I have a little pack of this is life-saving stuff here. These are all different types of hooks here. So if I'm trying to get something out, so then I've got 2 punches here, one thin and one a little bit larger. Then I've got another little sort of a puller here. That's actually a spring tensioner, and I've got a couple of sets of pliers here which I'll use. So then let's go over to my other moving workbank. Now this is usually where I have my my brew and my biscuits. It gets laid out with tools, and this is actually very nice. I can actually move it around the workshop. Yeah, and I can just move around my my workbank here wherever I like to place it. I haven't got my tools in the way. I have everything is all tidy. I can just stick it in the corner when I'm done with it, or I need some more room. I can really recommend you getting one of these. So what you do is you have your tools in here. I have basic selection of everything that I might need to take motorbike apart, and I've got then the other tools on this side here. I have a compressor in the workshop, which is this here, and I use that all the time. This is basically just my polishing area here. I have a couple of issues with the bike. I'll just show it to you there. So here she is. She's been kept quite well. She's been loved, I know that. This bike is now 40 years old, and it's generally in good condition. Now there are a couple of things that I don't like about it. Let you look at the speedo. 40,803 kilometers. This here is the gear selector, and this will tell you what gear you're in, and it's really nice in red. These are your turning signals, high beam, and if I neutral light here, and so on. Now I really do like the nostalgic clocks on it, and now looking down here, this is some of the paintwork which I don't like. Somebody sprayed it in silver just to brighten it up. Just check the switch gear on this. I mean, beautiful in aluminium, and I just got a little bit of polish up here to see how it would come up, and it comes up nice. And I show you the right hand side as well with the accelerator. I really think these are lovely. These are quality switches, and I really like them. So I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to free them up a little bit because they're a little bit stiff. And this is the starter button here. And again, this was probably all in black at some stage, but it's actually quite nice in aluminium. So I'm going to polish these up. This was probably black as well. I can see a little bit of black paint in the corner here. I've put in new brake fluid there and changed the brake fluid because I never like old brake fluid, and actually it was full of water. I have a tester for that, and I'll show you that as well. So I'll just show you the back of the bike here. It's actually quite nice. The tire's not bad, it's not flattened out. This is not nice here, this is all dirty in here. But the chrome is generally quite nice. Little bits of pieces of rust, but that all comes up. I might get this newly chromed because it just doesn't look nice. In fact, somebody put a new chain on it. Also, this new chain and sprocket. The sprocket is fine. The paint on it is sort of average. There's a lot of chrome parts on it and they come up. I've just done a little polish on this here just to see how it would come up, and again the top of this here as well, where the diaphragm is. We'll be looking at those closely later on. That should do it. Here we are, that's sticking now. I have freed up the front caliper, and the brake caliper was sticking on both sides, so I mean the bike had been sitting up for a long time. Now look at these heavy discs here, they're really interesting. I mean, we do you do lightweight stuff nowadays. I think there was Suzuki on this here, there was a badge on the front here. The brake lines have been done. I mean, they're not braided, but they look good and they look quite new. All this chrome is going to come up beautifully. I'll take each part apart, and I'm going to be taking the clocks apart as well and cleaning them up and getting this painted in the same color that I decide on the bike. I'm not too sure about the color at the moment. I might do a maroon red, would be probably my favorite. Just keeping the bike a little bit old-fashioned, not going too haywire on the color. I like the maroon red, but you never know, I might do it in some other color. I definitely won't be leaving it in this turquoise color. I'll be looking at some sort of a navy blue or a maroon, and getting a nice polish up on it, at the side panels, the tank, around the clocks and the wheels. So we're going to be painting, we're going to be getting rid of all this turquoise here. Don't like it one bit. Turquoise was never my color. Anyway folks, as soon as I have the carbs off today, I'm going to be putting them in my ultrasonic bath, which is here. And it's just as well I spoke about it, because I'm going to be turning it on. So there's what you do is you select the heat here and you select the time here. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to heat up the bath, and in it I already have my solution in. Now the bath water doesn't look too clean, but I just cleaned one part in there, and that's going to be definitely clean enough to bathe the carbs. Now unfortunately my ultrasonic bath there isn't very long, and the carbs look like they could be a little bit longer. I sometimes get 4 in, but if I don't, I just put half in and then turn them around and do the other half. I mean, I've no other options. But anyway, I'm doing 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. I don't turn the ultrasonic on because I'll just let you hear that, because that is very annoying. That is the noise it makes. So I can leave that off, but I'm going to leave the heat on and get that water heated up to around about 80 degrees. I mean, it doesn't cook, but it's good and hot. I'll just give the carburetors a quick clean down with the engine cleaner, just to get most of the dirt off the outside of them if they are very dirty, and then I'll just pop them into a container and give them a rub down with the engine cleaner. Now it gets most of the oil and grease off it, and I'll give it a quick wash before I just a wash with soapy hot water, and then I'll put them into the ultrasonic bath, and that actually keeps the bath quite clean. Because if you dump them in there with a lot of dirt on the outside of it, well, eventually this dirt is going to go into the inside of the carburetor, and that's what you really don't want. Anyway, I have basically everything in the workshop here now to get cracking on the job. Well, basically, I'm well sorted here, and let's get cracking. So 2 important things in the workshop, and when you're doing a job, is to have a brew and some bickies. Then you have to have a thinking chair, and there's my thinking chair. So what I do is I usually just sit down and have a little think about what I'm going to do. It's called stop, check, operate, and I learned that at work. So anyway, I'm Another thing I do is I always have the bike positioned in the garage or in the workshop that I can move it around. So here we go here, and if I don't want the wheels, I can just drop it onto the ground here. So this is a really handy number here. I've had the GS on this as well, so it takes up to 300 kilos. This is a really sturdy job. It must be a good 20 kilos. It is made of heavy steel. So anyway, folks, I better get on to the job and enjoy the video. And if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, I'd be really happy if you would do that. That would help my channel along big time. I mean, I've been doing motorbikes for years and years and years. I've been brought up with them, and oh, I needed that badly. Sorry about that, folks. You know, I've had my own workshop all my life. Started off working on the smallest of bikes, you know, 50s, 80s, and then 125s, and then 250s, and they were basically all two-strokes in those days. 350s, 400s. I'm not a mechanic, and basically it's all sort of a self-thought process. I hope my English isn't too bad. I mean, I've been living in Germany for over 35 years now. There's more of my life here in Germany than I did in Ireland, where I was brought up. But anyway, let's get cracking on this job. My channel is only starting. I only have about 12 or 14, I think 14 videos up now, and I'm going to be pushing this along, and it'll give me something to do when I stop work. That's the way I look at things. Okay, folks, enjoy the video.